Okay, welcome everyone to the Vortex Energy Podcast, where we delve into the fascinating world of energetic and wellness space. Join us as we explore the latest trends, insights, and innovations that are shaping the landscape of holistic well-being. Get ready to unleash your energy potential and embark on the transformative journey towards vitality, balance, and inner harmony. Tune in for captivating discussions and valuable discoveries that will elevate your understanding of energy, health, and wellness. And today I'm very excited to introduce Jak Isaksen, who's been a good friend since I moved to Tasmania 10 years ago. So welcome, Jak.
Thank you, Barb. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, and Jak has been in the health and community services sector in Australia for decades, promoting health and well-being on many levels. Her diverse professional background and working experience has included nursing. I did not realize that, know this until you told me here, case management and care coordination in aged care and disabilities, both urban and remote communities. She's a practitioner in Bowen remedial massage and lymphedema therapy and is ATMS and ALA accredited. I'm not sure exactly what ALA accredited is, but I'm sure you're going to tell us. And for the past years, 8 or 9 years, Jak's been based in St. Mary's Community Health Center practicing Bowen therapy and lymphatic management. So welcome, Jak.
Thanks so much, Barb. Good to be here with you.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what is Bowen therapy versus traditional remedial massage.
Yeah, good question. And it's something that I guess I explain to new clients and anybody who's interested in those differences. Um, all modalities offer something, very similar in that it's all about well-being and body balance. Um, Bowen therapy compared to massage is quite a different modality. Um, Bowen therapy works with a series of gentle moves across very specific places in the body. And we're basically working across what's called the fascia of the body. And maybe I can go into that a little bit deeper
Yeah,
in a while. But
yeah.
yeah, so it's very gentle work, but it's very effective. And then when we do moves, we leave the body to rest for a couple of minutes, and that waiting period is really crucial. So in parallel with remedial massage and in comparison, remedial massage or a massage really, often oil is used, whereas Bowen therapy, no oil is used. Um, remedial massage is there's a lot of movement of joints, muscles. Often there can be muscle energy movements made. It can be deeper work. You can use trigger points. You can use different myofascial techniques. So it's the pressure is a big difference really with both of them.
Yeah. And what first attracted you to Bowen therapy, or how did you get exposed to it?
Yeah, right. Well, I've always had a huge interest in natural therapies. Um, since I was really young, actually, I can remember having some attraction to, massage and herbs and that kind of thing, probably even at a young age of like 11 and 12. And I thought, I could study something like that. Or, there was always that sort of basic attraction. So I guess when I was in my early 20s, I had moved to Tasmania from the mainland, Australia, and I was living and working in a community in the south of Tasmania. And I was doing a lot of physical work, and I developed sciatica. And I'd heard about this Bowen practitioner who was working just outside of Hobart, Jen Lowry, her name is. And I was told that, she was really good in helping with this kind of thing. So consequently, I booked in for a with Jen, and I was blown away how, first of all, the sciatic pain left, but, other things in my body I felt were kind of happening. But then I probably didn't have the consciousness that I do now, and I wasn't really aware of what was happening. So it made me feel pretty good.
Right.
And just as a little sideline story of that as well, little did I know at the time, but maybe 12 years later, I went to study Bowen and remedial massage up in Nature Care College in Sydney. And I moved back to Tasmania once again, and where I ended up getting work in an amazing clinic in Salamanca at the massage centre. Jen Lowry works there.
Oh, that's great.
So we became friends and colleagues, and her and another couple of practitioners there became, my mentors for that 7 or 8 years that I worked there.
Oh, nice, nice. But
Yeah.
I want to dive a little bit into that concept of fascia because
Mm,
it's something that we talk about a lot in Qigong, actually.
mm,
And how do you,
mm.
as a holistic practitioner, view that, or how would you explain it to someone who's, because it's not something that's commonly, I think, understood very well.
Right, right. Yeah, so fascia is what, in a way, supports our body. It's a really strong sheath of lining that covers our muscles, our bones. There's certain kind of lines through the body where the fascia runs. And just as an example, just to give people maybe a visual on that, you know, when you have like a chicken thigh, a chicken thigh that you're going to, cut up to make a dish, there's this white filmy stuff over the flesh of the chicken, and that's actually the fascia. So
Yeah.
the fascia connects. It's like a connective tissue that holds our body together, but it's really quite, it's a complex kind of thing, because within the fascia there is um the fascia. So for example, when we do Bowen moves, we're igniting electrical currents through the fascia that run from the body over the muscle belly, often the muscle belly where we do the moves, that runs through the nervous system to the brain and then back through the body. So is like it's a means of sending messages, and it reverberates through the body. It's kind of like hitting, if just say for example, if I'm working doing some shoulder moves or neck moves, Bowen neck moves, it's like hitting a guitar string at one end of the string, but it reverberates like all the
Yeah,
way
all the
through.
way
So when
through.
i'm
Yeah, yeah.
when i'm activating the fascia, it's traveling all through the body and affecting a whole lot of stuff.
Because it is
Yeah.
connecting all of the organs, all of the muscles to the tendons and the tendons to the bone, and it is so all pervasive.
Right.
And being able to
Yeah.
address that directly, I think, is a real key factor. And maybe you could
Mm,
talk about the depth that you go to when you press to not go past the fascia, but to
mm.
just hit the fascia. Is that
Right,
correct?
right. And yeah, that's right, you got it. So yeah, with Bowen, I mean, all practitioners work differently, but and this is the getting back to when you were asking what the difference is with other modalities. This is the difference, and off gentle pressure, and we're doing gentle pressure over the muscle, so then it's it has a profound effect. Sometimes we think we need that really deep, deep work, and there's nothing wrong with deep work. I love that. But with Bowen therapy, to get that fascia activated and to, have that effect through the central nervous system, often those more gentle moves are the moves that make a bigger difference.
I get it now. That explains a lot, I think, for the people listening. And what do you think are some of the common misconceptions about Bowen therapy, and how do you address those?
Yeah, right. Good question. So when I'm seeing a client for the first time, particularly, maybe someone who has,
Sciatica, for say, for
a lot
example.
of had a lot of deep tissue work, or
Yeah,
deeper work, I'll
yeah.
often say this is not like massage. So I make that clear, and often I'll have that conversation before a client books in anyway. Yes, so I will explain clearly that it's very different, and it's gentle. It's gentle, but can still have like a huge impact. Does that
Yeah.
answer that question?
Yeah, no, perfect. Yeah, yeah. And what about, do you have any case studies or success stories? What's the typical really thing that's the easiest for you to treat? You go bing, bang, boom, done.
Yeah, well, it's our bodies are multidimensional, aren't they? So different clients will be treated in different ways, and this is where Bowen can be profound. So, for example, if I could have three clients coming in presenting with the same issues, but I may choose to treat them differently, and it depends on people's backgrounds. It depends on trauma in the body. It depends on a whole lot of stuff. But one case that comes to mind, and before I talk about this, actually, I just need to say that Bowen therapy doesn't just give people like a physical pain relief, like with muscles, bones, and that kind of thing. We can work on very different levels. We can work on the emotions, the spiritual, and a whole kit and caboodle of things. So I can work with things like frozen shoulder, sciatica,
Nice.
painful neck and shoulders, headaches. But we can also work with things like hormone imbalances.
Mm.
And one of my profound case studies, and I've seen this happen a couple of times over the 22 years I've been practicing. Years ago, I was working at a drop-in youth centre with street kids, and one of the young women, they were homeless kids, One of the young women that came in, she was having issues with anorexia, and so we talked lots about that, and she was really happy to have a few treatments, and so after I'd kind of set her body up with all the basic realignment and rebalancing moves. And so I knew, my intuition told me that I wanted to work on hormone balancing. And so we did some work, I did some moves, and she hadn't had a period, like she hadn't been menstruating for something like 6 or 7 years.
Oh.
She was in her mid-20s.
Mm.
Anyway, in her first session of Bowen, she came back a couple of weeks later, and she was really blown away. And she said, Jak, I've had my first period in, like 6 years.
Wow.
And we were both like, oh, wow. And
Yeah.
so, sometimes as a practitioner and even as a client, you can notice very subtle differences
Yeah.
after having treatment. But sometimes there's just that little miraculous, magical stuff that happens. And that was one of those, that was one of those moments, I think.
That is, and I didn't realize that it could affect something like, you could say, hormones doing Bowen therapy. So it really is a
Yeah,
whole mind body approach. Is that correct? Is that how you would?
that's right. That's right. And like I said, the body is many layers. We're not just this, we're not
Yeah.
just this physical body. We're made up of so much more. And there's facets of Bowen that I don't understand.
Mm.
But intuitively I know that it works. And then there's the scientific side that I know, and the anatomical and physiological side that I understand and I know that works. So we are, as we are, many, many, many different levels in the body. We're multidimensional.
Yeah.
And I've seen people over periods of time, and myself as well, having had bone treatments, for a long time now. There can be subtle little changes in. It's a hard thing to explain. Just in opening up to different things in life, and even I've seen people who are really quite shy, stand in their own bodies with more confidence and open up to more
Yeah.
courage and that kind of thing. And for a
Yeah.
practitioner, it's pretty amazing to see. And so obviously, for the client, that can be quite a powerful thing as well too. Mm.
So would you consider it or put it in the category of a type of energy work, or would you still call it more of just a mind-body connection? How do you approach this therapy technique?
Mm.
Because you're almost
I
describing it as an energetic, that it's activating different energetic sites in the body.
Yeah. Well, I believe I sense and feel that it is a real energetic work. Um, and sometimes scientifically it's hard to prove this stuff, right? But um, Tom Bowen, the Australian guy who actually developed the Bowen technique back in the early 1950s, he was based in Victoria. He always said that it was a gift from God that he could give people. And even though, anatomically and physiologically, Bowen can be explained, I feel personally, and I'm sure Tom Bowen felt this, even though I didn't meet him, I think that there's that deeper level of energy and connection going on with larger things.
That makes a lot more sense to me. Fantastic.
Mm,
So you said that you mentioned that you've worked with people with sciatic or frozen shoulder and things like that. Are there conditions that
right.
Bowen is not very good for? Or are there none? It can do
Yeah.
almost anything.
Yeah. Well, one of the other things I love about and I don't see it as the be all end all modality. I mean, I love it. It's profound. It's powerful. I think our bodies are open to different modalities at different times. So just ask me that question again.
So
I'm going off
are
on a
there some
tangent.
types of therapy that are not you wouldn't recommend for the Bowen practice?
Yeah, right. Thanks. Okay, so with Bowen, there is only one what we call contraindication, and that is there's only one situation in a clinical sense where we cannot do one particular move on a person, and that's a particular move when there's a pregnant woman. Other
Okay.
than that one move, there are no other contraindications. So
Okay.
basically,
Yeah.
there's nothing to stop treating people with all sorts of conditions with Bowen, from autoimmune diseases to inflammation. Even when there's bruising and maybe wounds and that kind of thing. Even though we don't work right over the wound, or over the injury, we can do a lot of gentle work to help release those muscles and get the nervous system back in alignment and the body more fully balanced, and then that's the stuff that promotes the healing and the
Yeah,
big.
gotcha. And we talked about before we started some health tips that you might give for people. How do they practice better self-care and maintenance following a Bowen session or to enhance their Bowen session? Do you have some
Yeah,
health
yeah.
tips for everyone listening?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And this is for life, really, isn't it, for general health? But, just to keep your body hydrated, just drink lots more water, particularly after sessions, after treatments. Um, the other is movement. It doesn't have to be rapid movement. It's it can be it can be just like gentle movement, and it's keeping the fascia and things more moving freely. And the other thing is just minimize your stress. I think stress can just make us sick, basically. Stress
Yeah,
can
yeah,
put us in not a great place.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well,
So
thank you for
they're the
that.
three. Yeah.
Is there
Yeah, no
anything
worries.
that I missed asking you that you would like to share with the people, everyone listening?
Mm. There is so much to say about Bowen, and I'm so passionate. And I think one of the things is for people just to remain open and non-judgmental about it, in terms of it being such a gentle technique. It can be quite profound and quite powerful. And so just allow any possibility. I think allow possibility when you're having a treatment.
Awesome. So are you ready for the quick questions that we ask all of our
Oh, sure.
Vortex Energy podcast
Far
guests?
away.
What is the greatest spiritual lesson in all of this for you?
Yeah, I think just infinite possibilities with healing, with infinite possibilities.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what is consciousness?
Consciousness for me is universal higher power, something other, something bigger.
And what is your definition of God?
My definition of God is that as well. It's a higher power, a higher consciousness.
And where do you feel most at peace with yourself?
I feel most at peace with myself when I'm meditating and when I'm in nature, I think.
Do you have a preference? Are you a mountain person or a beach person or a forest?
I'm multidimensional, so I love both of those on different moments.
Yeah,
Days.
yeah. And what's the spiritual book you've given as a gift most often?
Oh, yeah. There's a couple. I probably can't narrow it down to one, but um the big one, that's been around for years is Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life.
Hmm.
And the other one I found really useful for my practice and give to other people is Loving What Is by Byron Katie.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Very good book.
it'd have to be The Power of Now, Toll. And another good one would be Happy for No Reason by Marcy Shimoff.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a few.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you think happens when we die?
Oh, who knows, hey? But I probably have a couple of different feelings around this. I don't know. personally. I haven't had that death experience, so to speak, but I think our soul, I think something happens with our soul, and I don't know what. I like reading about that soul stuff. But I also believe we're really just a bunch of molecules and cells, and I think we go back to the universe and back to the stars somewhere too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. What advice would you give someone just starting out on their spiritual path?
Yeah, I would probably suggest to people, I know now at this point in my life, self-forgiveness and self-love has been really quite, you know, an important thing for me. So I would say to start out with, yeah, self-love and self-forgiveness.
Hmm.
And I guess being open, um, I talk to God a lot. Some people find that really weird, but I talk to the universe. I'm connected in that way daily. And I would say whatever your belief is, there is to just ask for guidance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the best way for people to reach you who want more info about your practice or about some of the things that you do?
Yeah, just by mobile, basically. 0438 29 7723. People can call me or text me. I'm going to be at my new clinic at the space that you've set up, Barb, the longevity and wellness space in St. Mary's. I'm going to be beginning practicing from there soon. And so you can
And
pop in
you'll
and
be
see me
available
there, or
Mondays and part of Tuesday.
yeah,
Is
at this
that right?
stage, Mondays, yeah,
Yeah,
in
Monday.
early Feb.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's our beginning point. So I'm excited to be practicing from there.
Fantastic. And a few last questions if you're ready.
Mm. Mm. Ooh.
And I'm just going to have you finish these sentences. You ready? The world needs.
Right. More solar power. No, I think the world needs
It does need.
more kindness,
I believe in.
miracles,
Love is.
everything.
I would like to thank.
My parents for bringing me into my family and into this world.
I am ready to forgive.
Always, even though it can take a lot of time, always.
Nice. And I want my legacy to be.
Mm. Hard to say when I'm still living, but probably to leave the world in a better place as
That's
much as possible.
that's fantastic, Jak.
Mm.
I really enjoyed having this time with you today.
You too, Barb. Thanks so much. It's been fun.
Yeah, and that I think it really helps highlight some of the really profound effects that Bowen therapy can have, and I think I'm sure
Mm.
I've been guilty of it in the past as well, thinking it's massage therapy, but it's Bowen therapy is a
Mm.
completely different technique with a whole lot of layers and levels
It
of
is.
depth that you've helped me understand that.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, come and try it, and have no expectations. Just yeah, come and try it. You're very welcome.
Fantastic. All right. Take care. Signing off.
Okay, thanks so much, Barb. Okay, bye.